Alright guys, the last little bit of today's stream. We got about 30 minutes left. So we're going to show you a bit of Dalaran, and then we're going to go to Outland and show you Outland. We're not going to do anything in Outland on these characters, but I still want to show you the zones, because it's important for something later in the game that you understand what they look like now. This over here, not yet, I just said I was going to show you Dalaran. This is Archmage Antonidas. This is the guy who trained Jaina. Grand Magus the Kirin, the great city of Dalaran stands once again, a testament to the tenacity and will of its greatest son. Your sacrifices will not be in vain, dearest friend. With love and honor, Jaina Proudmoore. Jaina, or Antonidas, was killed in Warcraft 3. I'm just flying around Dalaran right now. This is like the area you go for crafting and professions. This is the Violet Citadel. It is where the Kirin leaders are, like Ronan here, leader of the Kirin. There's also the Alliance section over here. If you try to go in, they very quickly throw you out. And then in the center, there's a fountain with Tyrion Fordring statue, which I want to knock down and destroy, which I'm not going to tell you why right now. We'll get back to that later. It's a pretty exciting place. If you go down here, there's entrance into the sewers. I'm not going down there, though. I don't really want to. I'll show you it later. And here is the Violet Hold, which is a dungeon, actually. And we're going to be doing that on stream eventually. Tiamat really likes the Violet Hold. She doesn't really like anything else, though. Exactly.
I do like the Violet Gold though.
You gotta say, the city's better than most of the ones in Final Fantasy XI. Agreed. What? No, get out of here, man. I don't want your quest.
I found the portal. I got a bunch of quests when I came in too.
I got one from Maztha. Is she over here? Because like I can just turn it in. No, okay, she's up above. Alright. So we're going to go into the Hellfire Peninsula. We kind of sort of stepped in here briefly before. But we didn't do much here. But this is Outland. This is the Hellfire Peninsula. As you can see, it's kind of arid and barren. So, in Warcraft 2, and during the Second War, they set up a group of people like Turalion, Illyria, a bunch of Alliance soldiers to come into Outland and fight with the invading orcs in their home area. And they beat the Horde back, but Ner'zhul, while he was trying to escape, opened up another portal to escape, but it caused a chain reaction that opened up a bunch of different portals that kind of ripped this entire land apart. Just shredded it and decimated its landscape, so this is what it is. Ner'zhul was an orc shaman who was very powerful, and he worked for the Legion. But alas, this is all that's left of what he did. And you can see the other planets in the sky there. I really like the sky in these zones, actually. I'll go up here and show you the Throne of Kil'jaeden. So yeah, the Ner'zhul did all that terrible stuff, and unfortunately, I believe he stepped through a portal that left him in the Twisting Nether, which is that black void down there that Tiamat doesn't like to fly over. That black void is the Twisting Nether. So, and in that side, the Twisting Nether, Kil'jaeden found Ner'zhul and started torturing him for failing him. At which point he decided to give Ner'zhul another chance. But to ensure that Ner'zhul didn't betray him again, he was like, well, or fail him again, I guess. He sealed him in a suit of armor, froze him in a chunk of ice, and then threw him through space onto Azeroth, where he became the Lich King, which is who we're now facing off against. So yeah, this here is the Throne of Kil'jaeden. This expansion is Burning Crusade. It's the second, or the first actual expansion of Yeah, he basically sent this realm to the Shadow Realm. Exactly. He fucked this place entirely. But yeah, Ner'zhul becomes the Lich King. So he's not done yet. Anyway, Peanut, what are your thoughts on Hellfire Peninsula? Did you like this zone?
It was a nice difference from like the vanilla zones when I first came here, but now I'm sick of it.
So, the problem with Burning Crusade is this place does not match the rest of the game. Like, it doesn't... So, in Vanilla WoW, the quests were all over the place. There wasn't really anything to lead from one quest to another. You just kind of ran around doing quests that were individual. They weren't that exciting. Like, there's no real culmination to quest lines. It wasn't that great. And Burning Crusade followed that same process. So now that they've updated all the original areas, Cataclysm has all these great quest lines in all these zones. But then you go to Outland and you're like, wait, what? Why would I do this? This is a dead Pit Lord. It's very big for a Pit Lord, actually. Agonar is his name. So yeah, this is just giving you a general idea of what the area looks like now. What we're flying towards right now is a part of... Yeah, so this big thing right here is just a wall, actually, but it's Hellfire Citadel, believe it or not. This thing is a citadel. At the top, you'll find the dungeon Blood Furnace. Along the ramparts, you'll find the dungeon, the Hellfire Ramparts. There's also the inner part of the Hellfire dungeon. I don't remember what it's called. I think it might just be Hellfire Citadel. And then at the bottom, you will find a raid, Magtheridon's Lair, which again, we'll do that when we hit 80. Yeah, exploring is really fun. And you can see the Blood Elves kind of moved here. Like, during Warcraft 3, Illidan comes to Outland. And actually, that's a lot of what you're fighting in Outland is Illidan. Illidan and the Legion. But he comes to Outland, and with the help of the Broken, which are Draenei who were left on the planet when Ner'zhul ripped this place apart. Blood Elves, which fled there after Arthas destroyed the Sunwell. And Naga, because, well, Ashara just decided to send Naga to help Illidan for some fucking reason. They all get together and they fix the Black Temple, or they liberate the Black Temple. So, with that in mind, Illidan is a huge driving force of this expansion, just because people wanted to kill him. But they kind of retcon, or not really retcon, but frame what he changed his aims while in Outland now, because they want him to be a lore character. And Illidan comes back later in the game, and they kind of add some depth to why he was doing what he was doing in Outland. So we'll touch on that more when we get there. Needless to say, though, we are going to do Black Temple. We are going to fight Illidan on stream, and we're going to show you guys. Alright, Piamet, we're going into Zangarmarsh. You can tell us about Zangarmarsh. Go.
Zangarmarsh has a lot of mushrooms. It used to be underwater, but now it's not. But there's still a lot of water. There's a lot of Naga. A lot of spores stuff, because mushrooms.
It's true.
When I first got here, I was like, oh my god, this is such a beautiful zone. And I still like it aesthetically, but I don't really like a lot of the quest lines, because I pretty much always went here to quest. So, yeah. But Hellfire does naturally lead to Zangarmarsh, quest-wise.
It does. There is a quest here that refers to using bug wings as prophylactics.
Oh yeah, making condoms.
Yep, you get to make condoms, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think it's on this rise right here, but I don't think you can do it as a Horde character.
They don't outright say condoms. I think you might be able to do it as Horde. Unless that rise is like...
That's Alliance only.
Alliance.
Yeah, I saw the mobs, they're all Alliance.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Ah, P the Magic D says, this place is nice. Yeah, I really like this area.
Yeah, it's very nice looking. It's very unique. Oh, and down in the water there is a... You have to dive deep.
So there are a whole bunch of dungeons underneath there. If you go underwater, which I'll fly down and get a better view under there so you can see. We're not going all the way in though. I just want you to see what's under there. There you go. So underwater there, you can see that this, whatever this is, it goes deep underwater. And what you do is you swim down, and then you can actually get in there and swim even further down into what's called the Coil Song Reservoir. The Coil Song are a tribe of...
Stopped following you.
They're a tribe of Naga.
Yeah, it's like right in here that you dive down.
Yep.
And there's the whole... If you dive down here, you can show them.
I am on my way.
It's the tunnel that you take.
Yeah, so right down there. If you go to, and you can find a few dungeons in there and a raid. The dungeons are the Slave Pens, the Botanica, and I think that was it. I don't think there's anything else down there.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else down there. Oh, I remember what that fucking dungeon was called. It wasn't Hellfire, so it was Shattered Halls. In the Hellfire Peninsula. Okay, anyway, so there's also a raid in there, and it is... what is the name of that raid? I don't remember. Coil sang something? Coilfang Reservoir. Serpentine Cavern, that was it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you flow around here, you can see that the Naga are the ones kind of responsible for pumping out all of the... You hope there aren't sharks that you have to fight. No, actually, they didn't bring sharks out until Cataclysm. I don't think. Like, there might have been some in Wrath. There might have been some sharks in Wrath, actually. By the Tonka village that we're going to be going to. Oh, not Tonka. The Tuskar village. There's a reason I'm coming over here, though. I want to show them something. So you remember when I said that Ner'zhul opened up a whole bunch of gates? Well, in each zone, there is a gate that looks kind of like this. Right here. This is one of the gates that he opened up. It's closed now, but it looks like a mini version of the Dark Portal. Which is kind of cool. Alright, we're going to go north now. That's pretty much it for Zangarmarsh. Zangarmarsh is a pretty cool zone. I rather enjoyed, like, even though I don't overall enjoy the experience of Outland anymore, just because the game's presentation has actively improved from Wrath onward. The game itself, Zangarmarsh was a big was a lot of fun at the time. Now we're coming up to an actually really cool looking zone. For a different reason than Zangarmarsh. Like, Zangarmarsh is very tranquil, very pretty. As Wintrig says, she really liked coming here with her first experience of Outland. But Blade Edge Mountains is the area we're heading now. And you can kind of see why they're called Blade Edge Mountains. The place didn't turn into a hellhole like the rest of them. No, but it was drained of a massive amount of its water. And not all of them actually turned into hellholes. As you're going to see, some of them actually survived pretty well. Like, Blade Edge Mountains isn't that decimated. But it is a rather interesting looking map. Weirdly enough, The Horde get 2 flight points here. What are the alliances too? Anyway, all over in Northrend you find these forage camps, which are just like alliance things in the area. They're shooting flat cannons at us apparently. Anyway, so yeah. These are the Blade Edge Mountains. As I said, you can see, yeah, it was all underwater before the portal. Peanut's on fire now.
Oh.
But then you get these, are you guys familiar with Shangri-La? Or Shambhala, as it's supposed to be named. Well, Shangri-La is a mythological place, but the ogres in this game have a mystical city that they are worshipping or looking for, and it's called Ogrilla. Fuck you, Ribbon Dark. What the hell are you attacking me for? Oh, rude. You spit 5,000 damage at me and then just leaves. What a dick. Anyway, they believe these crystals lead to Ogrilla. And you get a lot of the quests there, like Simon says, and you gotta hit up a whole bunch of things in the order. So anyway, as you can see, there's a lot of ogres in Bladespire Hold, but there's something particular I want you to see, and you can kind of see it over there in the distance, and we'll get there. I'll show you when I get there. You tabbed too early. So yeah, if you look around, you can kind of see the corpses of dragons, and yeah, this is what happens when the ogres met with the black dragons. During the war, Deathwing, one of the 5 dragon aspects of Azeroth, tried to come through the portal and take over the Blade Edge Mountains, and it didn't go very well for the dragons, and you can see why here. They didn't stand a chance against Deathwing himself, but the Ogre Magi were using their magic to pull the dragons out of the sky, and it literally impaled them onto the blade's edges of the mountains. So you got dragon heads all over. I just got... Okay, that's cool.
The fuck? What?
Alright.
Okay.
So, Grulok there is the son of Gruul. Gruul was strong enough to fight with most of the black dragons, but they ended up having to use Khadgar, a mage in the Alliance. Well, he's kind of neutral, but he's a mage, a really powerful mage who trained under Medivh. Ended up using a spell that pulled on all of Deathwing's scales and metal plates on his body, and that caused Deathwing to flee back to Azeroth, because it would have ripped him apart. The ogres are brutal as fuck. Yeah, they are. These ogres aren't like the other ogres in Azeroth. The ogres on Azeroth are kind of idiots and just act on instinct and are just really stupid. The ogres here are a little more brutal, especially in the past. In the past, they were really, really bad. Like,
Raid.
Yeah, there's a raid for them. Oh, there's a raid in the Sun Tool. It's called Gruul's Lair, where you get to fight Gruul. But in the past, the ogres in Outland were like a dominant force. Now we're coming to one of my favorite zones in Outland. This is called Netherstorm. As you can see, why it's called Netherstorm. This place is dominated by a group called the Consortium, Goblins, and a few other. Consortiums are ethereal people. I don't know if we'll see any right now. I'll try and show you one if I can. You're not following me anymore?
Oh shit. Thanks. Not sure why that happened.
Alright, so this place is the most devastated. Like, it was just ripped to shreds. It is the closest to slipping into the Twisting Nether. As you can see, parts of it are already crumbling and just floating away. There is a Goblin City here, though. It's like Area 52, I think. Yeah. There's a server actually named after this area. Yeah, Area 52, and they got a rocket and everything. But this is Netherstorm. Most of the zone looks just like this. There's a few things I would like to show you, though. They're harvesting the energy of the Twisting Nether here, which is kind of nice. Oh, this symbol here on the screen, don't worry, it just means game data is being downloaded. Nothing I can do about that. But the consortium's using it for something. I don't remember if they ever tell you why. Don't really care. The zone's just really cool. Very purple. If you like purple, this is the zone for you. But they also have these biodomes here. As you can see, we're going to fly to one. I think we can go in. We might have to go around to get in, but so if we do, I'm not going to bother. No, we can go in. And as you can see, inside the biodome is quite literally a biodome. It's a forest, which is a really cool idea. Peanut, what are your thoughts on Netherstorm? I know, but they don't.
Oh, well. I liked leveling here as a final zone. Hold on. Wait. I gotta follow you.
Who's drinking? Holy shit.
So I liked leveling here as like a final zone in Outland, but for a while I didn't even go here. I don't like the abysses between the areas here. They make me nervous. I like the dungeons and the raid here, and I think the area overall is really pretty and cool, different. And it's got some weird shit, I feel.
So this here is a dungeon, a dungeon, a dungeon, and a raid. So this is Draenei technology. I'm not going to tell you what's in there because we're going to do it, but you got the, I don't know which one's which. I think this is the Botanica, the blue one. It's like a garden for the Draenei. This one over here is the Mechanar, which is like a machine location where they build their shit. This one, the red one, I believe is the Arcatraz. That's a prison. And then the big one in the center is Tempest Keep, which is a raid. And it's one of the coolest raids in the game.
Yeah.
There is a fourth ship that's supposed to be there, but it's not anymore. It is on the Exodar, exactly. It is the ship that the Draenei used to flee Outland to get to Azeroth.
Nice. They did it.
And it crash lands on the Azure Mist Islands.
Hey, there's a flight point here, huh?
There is. Let's not worry about that, though.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever have to care about that flight point. It's like literally just a flight point to be outside of the dungeon.
Alright, so unfortunately, we're going to possibly...
There are some interesting quest lines in here now that I think about it.
Yeah, here's Alliance City that they tried to build that got destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know why someone would try to build an Alliance City right here.
It seems like a bad plan.
Yeah.
Not an exceptionally well thought out plan, at least. Some nice lore for that too. I hope you're enjoying the lore drops, P. I absolutely love the lore of Warcraft, and unfortunately, Payment, we're going to fly over something that you do not like.
Oh, we'll tap out.
Hopefully we don't die.
If you're flying... Wait, where are you flying to?
I'm just flying across.
To where?
Hellfire Peninsula.
Okay, you can fly from Hellfire to here. Oh no, I stopped following you. No.
Alright, fly over to me. So sometimes the game would demount you and you just fall to your death. That could happen. It may still happen. Who knows? If it happens, hey, that'll be hilarious.
No.
What do you mean no? Anyway, so yeah, this is Hellfire Peninsula. It's interesting. This is the Twisting Nether. That's also interesting. That's Netherstorm behind us. So we're cutting across. We're going to go to Nagrand, and then to Turakar, and then to Shadowmoon, and then we'll be done. Sorry, it's not the fastest of tours through Azra or through Outland, but it isn't a bug. It's a feature designed to make you fear flying through zones. So yeah, we were already here, so you guys have seen this before. So we're just going to turn slightly, and we're going to fly over to Nagrand. I'll tell you a little bit about Nagrand before we get there. Nagrand is one of the least touched zones in this area, in the sense that it wasn't as ravaged as the other ones. It's a very pretty zone. I really like it. But it's where a lot of the orcs made their home, actually. The Maghar orcs they're called. Grom Hellscream is one of them. He's the one that led the orcs to drinking the fell blood when the Legion first invaded this world, which turned them into fell orcs. Which are the red orcs. Yeah. So any red orc you see drank the blood of Manaroth and basically turned into an asshole. So anyway, there's not much there. It's just there's a lot of shamans in the orc tribes. They used to be not allied with the Draenei, but they were friendly-ish with the Draenei in that there was a mutual respect between them where they didn't kill each other. But then they started killing the Draenei, and the Draenei are like, what the fuck, yo? We didn't do anything to you. And the orcs are like, we don't care. We're a warrior race all of a sudden. We no longer care about shamanism anymore. That was mostly due to the Legion and Gul'dan, though. Gul'dan is a character that we will find out more about later. So right here we have the edge of Turakar Forest, and we're back in Zangarmarsh. Only briefly, though. We're only crossing over Zangarmarsh for a moment. Umberfen Village. I remember this place. In Umberfen, you're going to find a lot of the Broken, which, as I said, are the Draenei that kind of... Was he the shaman in the Warcraft movie? Which? Gul'dan? If you're asking about Gul'dan, no. Gul'dan wasn't a shaman per se. He was he's a warlock. Although he did present to be a shaman initially. When he first approached the orcs to gain their favor, before he showed off that his powers were, in his mind, greater than the shamans. Yeah, Gul'dan is in the movie. He's the main antagonist of the movie. He's the one that sucks Durotan dry. In case anybody's wondering, my opinion on the Warcraft movie is I really like the Warcraft movie. Does it have its faults? Most definitely. But ultimately, it is a fairly good movie. And I really hope that they do make a second one. Because I would love to see the Lich King in cinematic form. Anyway, this is Nagrand. This is usually the final quest hub for people in Outland. Just because there's so many quests here, and there's a lot of really good rewards for some of the quest lines. But as you can...
Here a lot.
Yeah. You see, it did take some damage, but most of it's just like trees floating in the sky on rock pieces. Like, it's not that roughed up. Over there's the Seat of the Ancients. It's where our elementals. It's where the orc shamans would go to pray to the elements and give tribute. In the center is Hala, which is like a world PvP hub. Right? I thought it was a pretty decently done game movie. The orcs didn't look completely atrocious for CGI. The acting was really good. They got the right characters, people to play some of the characters. Like Clancy Brown to play Blackhand was a fantastic idea. But yeah, so this is Nagrand. We're just gonna fly to the one end to show you something, and then we're gonna fly back to Turkar Forest. Pimet, what are your thoughts on Nagrand?
Well, like I said, I did a lot of questing here. I liked how it was so different than the rest of Outland. Like, it wasn't all destroyed, really. And it was kind of, like, cheerful seeming.
It is a breath of fresh air from the rest of Outland.
Yeah.
Quite literally, because there's trees here.
Yes.
It's got some weird trees. Well, it is an alien world, right?
Yeah, it's in outer space.
So what, there's a few funny quests here, like there's an ogre child that you gotta free, all that great stuff. In the past, there was an ogre kingdom here. It's actually where the seat of the ogre kingdom was. It's long fallen off into the twisting nether. It's like down in this bottom left corner originally. But unfortunately, they didn't survive, as you can see. And they kind of ruled everything around here, and had they survived, the Legion would have had a tougher time getting involved. So a lot of people that don't actually come up here, they just don't bother. But in the back here, if you look in the distance, we're not going to fly all the way over there. I'll just stop here. But in the distance there is one of those gates I was talking about. That was one of the ones that ripped this world apart. That one was less powerful than the other. Less?
There's a quest line up here, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people just don't go up there.
Yeah. Oh, my chair is super creaky today. I don't know why.
Hot.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to fly to Turkar next, and then Shadowmoon before we're done. Alright, so down here, if I can see him, I don't know if he's going to be here yet, if you have to do a question to get him to be here. There's somebody I want to show to PM it, but only if he's here. There's an NPC that's along this river somewhere. Ah, there he is.
Oh, yeah.
This is...
Altruist, the Sufferer.
Yeah, this guy was one of the first demon hunters in the game. That wasn't Illidan. Hey, this guy got Portal Jockey 25. Anyway, this here crystal here is called Ashugun, this giant thing here. It's a mine. You like the zones a lot? I'm glad. So I just wanted to show them off on video so people can see, since we're not going to be questing here, at least not on these characters. I do want to do an Alliance playthrough, but we'll see.
They did a lot of good designs for areas with the Burning Crusade.
Definitely. So yeah, this is Ashugun. I don't remember the lore behind this thing because I didn't spend much time here, but I do know the inside is being mined. Which is kind of cool. I know there's a questline, a group quest, to kill one of the Grons that spawned near here. When I first started playing, it was actually really hard to find that Gron because he was all over the place. There he is, right there. During the hunger, because he was hunted all the time. And he was actually pretty tough. To our right is a... Actually, we're going to be flying over it. And so directly ahead of us is an Alliance city that we're not going to fly over. But it's like the Alliance area here, whereas Garadar up there is the Horde area. He's huge. Yeah, he's really big. He's Gruul's son. He's the son of that raid, but we mentioned Gruul's lair. But yeah, that's a Draenei settlement that's still in the area. You go there and quests if you're an Alliance character. Over here is one of the Horde cities. As you can see, the Horde villages are a little more basic here. They don't have the same architecture that you'd see of the Horde using now in the Alliance. His dad's a lot bigger. But you don't actually see any of this stuff here in the game much anymore. It's primarily on the Outland, and because Garrosh kind of changed their building schematics to be a little more defensive, so you'll see them built with a lot more dark iron now and spikes, whereas these ones are just kind of like wood and stone. Alright, we're coming up to Turkar Forest. Turkar is, well, as you guessed it, a forest. It's kind of like a dead forest, though. Most of the trees look like they're not living anymore. This place was one of the most ravaged. The only one worse than this, I think, is Hellfire Peninsula, because Hellfire Peninsula used to be a swamp and a jungle. So this is no longer a jungle. In case you're wondering, Hellfire Peninsula used to be called Tannen Jungle, and it was the first place we went, so there's nothing there.
What about Shadowmoon?
Shadowmoon's pretty rough. Yeah, I'd say Shadowmoon's pretty bad too, because it's got volcanoes, which you'll see soon. So this is the bone wastes of Turkar. What the hell is that scream?
That's the dragon.
So it is. Anyway, so this is Auchindoun, or Auchindoun as the Draenei call it. I always called it Auchindoun, but Auchindoun is just how it's pronounced. Basically, you just go down here, and this place was exploded from within. Later in the game, I think they touch on this place, but you don't really spend too much time here. There are 4 dungeons here. There is the Mana Tombs, Sethic Halls, Auchindoun, yeah. Shadow Labyrinth. Shadow Labyrinth, Sethic Halls, Mana Tombs, and Auchinite Crypts. Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't actually Auchindoun?
Correct. Auchindoun is the name of the actual place we're in. It's all destroyed and fucked up.
That's the one with the eye at the end.
Pretty sure that is the Crypts. Yeah, Auchinite Crypts.
I like that part of it.
Sethic Halls is the one with the Arakoa, the
Yeah, I don't like
Mana Tombs.
I don't really like those instances, but I like that part of that instance.
Yeah. Hey, Fluffy. Hello. I'm pretty great.
Hello.
I'm just giving people tours of Outland since we're not going to stay here very long. Yeah, Sethic Halls was the Arakoa. The Mana Tombs was the not Celestials, the Ethereals. The Shattered Hall, or not Shattered Hall, Shadow Labyrinth was kind of like Ethereals and cultists, yeah.
Yeah.
This here is the main city hub of Outland. This was Shattrath. Yes, city. The first neutral city. It was taken over by Dalaran in the Wrath of the Lich King. But yeah, this is it. In the center, inside this building, which we're not going to go in, but we're going to fly down to it. Oh shit, they replaced this model. That's hilarious. It's a doll. That's an Nara there. But Archmage Khadgar, they're actually using his new model here. They're not using his old one.
Where is he?
Like right beside.
Oh.
See?
What was his old one?
He was just like an old man with a long beard and a purple robe. Yeah, this is Archmage Khadgar. This is the guy I told you about who used a spell to pull at the plates of Deathwing to get him to run away. First human to ever get him to run away, I think.
Oh, for some reason I couldn't just auto fly when following. There.
Alright, so as you can see, Shattrath is kind of like not great. It's not in good shape. This might be your favorite zone. You like Turkar Forest? Now, when I say we won't be questing here, that's not entirely correct. We will be questing here at some point, but it's not what you think, and I'll explain that when we get there. It'll be a while, though. Closer to level 100. Exactly. So, last but not least, we're going to head over to Shadowmoon Valley. There's not much more to say about this place. This place is pretty rough. The Draenei who were here did not have a good time.
No.
As you can see, there are some orc settlements here. These are the Maghars type settlements, so they're not even like the green orcs that you're aware of. You like the spooky forests that are dense? This is pretty dense. Like, all these trees are probably dead, but they're still standing.
It doesn't feel that spooky to me, personally. But I guess this is like as spooky as it might get.
Floppy McFloss does the quote, and it's quote number 32. I will fuck all of you. Dragon Quest 10. Fluffy says thank. So, Shadowmoon Valley. Shadowmoon Valley is the seat of Illidan. It's where the Black Temple is. It's where most of the group quests of Outland were, if I remember correctly. But it's also where the Legion is most dominant, and where the end of Outland usually is for people, because that's where the raid is. It's where Black Temple was. Oh, I forgot to mention. You see this giant robot here? We never got to see it in Hellfire, but this robot here, there's a giant one walking around in Hellfire Peninsula. And yeah, there's more than one. But if you hear that thing roar, look around and run away, because you're about to get stepped on. It was an interesting feature when you first got to Outland as coming from vanilla areas, because they didn't have anything like that. You got stepped on?
We were questing together, my shaman and Miro's rogue. And we were in Hellfire Peninsula, and I dropped down my totems. And then we, like, walked around and were killing things. My totems are still, like, a fair bit away, but far enough that I guess they could still, like, access us. I don't know. Anyway, a Fel Reaver came by, and we're like, oh, it's far enough away, we're safe. Fel Reaver saw my totems, killed them, and then chased me down, killed me. And Miro lived.
Of course.
He was not, like, aggroed, and also, I guess you used Vanish, maybe?
I am Miro, so that's entirely possible.
Miro lived, that's the point. I didn't. Because my totems were way out, like, near the entrance to the area we were hunting stuff
So, this is a volcano. It's called the Hand of Gul'dan. Really, I just call it the rectum of Gul'dan because it's shitting everywhere, but... You're right, I know. Anyway, this up here, this is the raid. This is the Black Temple. This is what everyone aspired to do in Burning Crusade. Get to this place and fight the end boss of this dungeon. Funny thing is, you don't actually get to go in through the front door.
It's really impressive looking.
It is.
But this wasn't the final raid.
It was not. They ended up adding a new raid after this, called the Sunwell Plateau, which was actually legitimately difficult. There was a boss in it named Muru, who went undefeated because he was bugged or way overturned. I don't remember which one. Either way, people could not beat the boss Muru for weeks.
Yeah.
But it's still not as bad as Veil of Straz. Anyway, how you get into the raid is actually through this crack in the wall. You go in through here and this shit poor job of binding it, blocking it off. Then you go down into the sewers, you fight a Naga boss, and then you come out. This is a lot bigger inside the raid, actually. You can't even go over there. They won't let you fly over there. Anyway, that's the front foyer, and then standing in front of that gate in the raid there is another boss. It's a giant infernal.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to show you guys.
That's a good show. I'm scared. These guys are 68.
Time to Hearth.
There's someone named Warfrog in our guild.
Warfrog. I love it. I'll pick up this quest over here too.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Baladash Malanore.
You get to read it.
Hello, Luminol. You may or may not be aware that we Kurantor moved our city here to Northrend. No longer does Dalaran sit under its protective dome on the shores of Lordamere Lake. Now the city magically floats above the Crystal Song Forest. We believe you to be ready for your journey to the city. Speak with me again and I will cast a spell of teleportation to transport you there. When you arrive, take out Archmage Cylindra and give her my signet as proof that we spoke.
Okay, we'll do that tomorrow.
We should have done that instead of flying there.
What? No, we got to see all the zones flying there. Alright guys,
Oh, that's true.
so, as always, that's going to be it for the stream. I don't know if we will, we'll be back tomorrow with Divinity or not. I will post in the Discord. If not, I may just play something else. I might just play Hyrule Warriors or something just to mess around with because I'm picking it up after the stream on for the Switch.